So before we get into hot topics, you're in D.C. right now.
Yeah.
And you're following CDC guidelines to stay home.
Yes.
You know, you're happy. Are you watching anything? Is the family getting on your nerves? Have you just gotten your own room now? What's happening? How you doing there?
Oh, it's a whole situation. You know, look, it's everything. It's working from home, to your point, and so conference call after conference call, where invariably a part of the conference call is, can somebody mute themselves? Can somebody unmute themselves? Who's doing the heavy breathing? To, you know, learning and then talking to my mother-in-law about the fact that she didn't apparently ever require my husband to clean his room when he was growing up. And how that has changed. You know, to you know, just figuring out how to find time to laugh. I find that I'm calling people more, texting less. I just think that the sound of laughter is so much more important than reading LOL. Finding time to listen to music. You know, I did a whole day last weekend of Bill Withers, and then rest in peace, he died just a couple of days ago. But, you know, find time to turn off cable news and put on some music. Those are, and cook, I love to cook, so I am doing that, but since now it is required that I cook every day, my husband now has been assigned Wednesday and Saturday to cook, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're gonna have tonight. But there you go, just making it work.
Well, Senator, you know, you heard us talking a bit about hot topics, and something that's been really disconcerting for me is that it seems to have taken 70 days for President Trump to even admit that there was a significant problem with the coronavirus pandemic. Yeah. And at Trump's briefing yesterday, he said he hadn't even seen the memo from Peter Navarro warning of what could happen if the virus spread from China to the United States, but he also said he didn't look for it either. And now we're learning that he had some information in his presidential daily briefing. American lives have been lost. Does he not bear some of the responsibility for that?
The buck stops with him. You know, here's the thing. This is a moment of international crisis. And this is when leaders must lead. The President of the United States was also the Commander-in-Chief in a moment of national crisis, which is that we have a public health pandemic that has led to an economic crisis as well. The President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, must use the voice of that office in a way that is about speaking truth, embracing fact, speaking about facts, no matter how uncomfortable it may make people to hear. It is about embracing science and listening to the public health professionals, all with the intention of lifting up the American people, both in terms of dealing with the solutions to this problem, which means acknowledging it is a real serious issue and not a hoax, which means saying that one of the tools in the tool belt of the president in a crisis is to use the Defense Production Act to require that where we don't have what we need to meet the crisis and meet the moment, we will create incentives and direction to the private sector to create those things, in this case ventilators, masks, tests. But what we have in this president is someone who has been concerned about himself full-time since he's been in office, and including during this pandemic. And so we have heard, frankly, and I just have to be candid, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We have heard lies. We have heard him try to shift blame. And most recently, even the conversation that the group had this morning, we have seen that he has tried to minimize and distract from the issue at hand. In a moment of crisis, leaders must lead, which means fully embrace the seriousness of it with the intention of lifting up not only the circumstance of the American people, but the spirit of the American people. And we've seen none of that from this president.